All right, Tim Tszyu, Denis Nurja, Brendan Bradford, mate. What did we make of Tim Tszyu's performance this evening, today, this morning, whatever you want to say?
It's interesting. I think we learned a fair amount. I wonder whether he got out of third gear. It didn't look like he was going, or couldn't quite get to that next level. I'm not sure. He was certainly much better than Denis Nurja, who was very tough. Tougher than I thought, and actually thought Nurja started pretty well.
Better than Velasquez?
Oh, much better than Velasquez. And came to fight a bit more too. Very tough dude. Man, what a tough guy. He took some shots. I was talking to Mike Ultima saying he just never discount an Albanian's toughness, and 100%. And look, Tim dropped him, and I think I think it was the fourth round where if that went a little longer, maybe he could have stopped him. He obviously didn't get that stoppage that everyone was sort of really hoping for. But good to get the rounds in again. Another camp with Pedro Diaz. Just didn't get the stoppage. That's all. That's all we wanted, right?
Yeah. I think I even forgot that he dropped him in round 4 as well. I mean, that's but the thing that stood out to me was the physicality of Nurja. He was big, he was strong,
sharp,
a good handle, and he actually made Tim think in there early. I thought Tim was getting a bit frustrated at times. He made him think, and he's like, shit, I can't just get this guy out of here.
Yeah.
And also the fight being at 157, does Tim Tszyu's power translate at that weight? I don't think so right now.
Yes, I know, I get it. Like, you take these kinds of fights, we'll call them tune-ups, right? So don't wreck yourself getting to 54, which is getting tougher. So I get that, doing it at 57. But I think he will look better at 54. He'll look, maybe he can go to those next levels at 54, if that makes sense. But all credit to Denis Nurja. He was tough as, sharp, fast early on. He got deducted a point too, holding.
Yes. I thought Tim's body shots were good tonight.
Yeah, I actually thought through the middle sort of portion of the fight that the body shots would come to play. I think we mentioned it the other day, that like a Stevie Spark type situation. I thought that might be on the way. Didn't quite happen. But yeah, look, and I think you have seen some of the things that he's learned and adaptations and changes he's made since training with Pedro. He looks a little different. I think his defence was probably a lot better than it has been in the past. He's doing a few things that he hasn't always done. But I think he'll do another training camp over there, another long training camp. So only sort of develop that part of his game as well.
And if you to look at the positives tonight, obviously there'll be the critics online saying that Tim Tszyu should have stopped this guy. Who is this guy? But those amateur guys are good pedigrees. They know how to survive and they know how to box.
Yeah.
So, but the question for me was, is he stuck between the old style of walk forward pressure style and that boxing style? And when that boxing style isn't, getting someone out of there, does he revert back to that old style? And then that's when he gets the head clash, he gets erratic. But he also, when he got the clash, I was impressed. He remained calm.
Stay calm.
And he got through it.
That's a good point. When you're under a bit of pressure, you often revert to what you know or what is comfortable. So there's maybe an element of that there as well. But look, I thought he actually had taken control of the fight in rounds 2 and 3, and then the cut happened. And so it's a bit crazy. What about he said, Dr. Alan Saunders came over and had a look. Alan Saunders, famously the doctor at the centre of the Nikita Tszyu, Michael Zarafa drama earlier this year. Tim said he thought about making a joke about it. Like a present to mind to sort of make that. But
it's
almost 2 years to the day since the Fundora fight. It was Easter 2024.
Can you imagine if that cut was just a little bit higher? But I'll tell you what, there's a lot of criticism of Tim, and you will see it tomorrow. Tim Tszyu should have got this guy out of there. Yeah. Who is this guy? Who is this guy? But I think, did Tim really get hit tonight?
No, apart from the head clash. He wore glasses, because of the head clash and the cut,
Yeah.
but he didn't get.
So I think there
marked
are
up.
a lot of positives to take from tonight. I did think he still looked a little bit tentative at times, particularly early,
Yeah,
but he looked comfortable.
yeah. That right hand didn't move from his cheek for the first couple of rounds. They just right there. It was like, look, he's making a point of it, which was interesting.
Yeah, but I just wonder if there is criticism of Tim. Is it because they were used to that pressure style, those knockouts against the Campo Harrison, the beatdown on Mendoza late? Are we going to see that Tim Tszyu moving forward? I don't think we are.
I don't know.
I don't think we need to.
No, you don't need to. That's the thing. You don't need to. Like, that was a different time. It was a different era. He was unbeaten. Hadn't, not as much sort of wear and tear. They hadn't been knocked down, hadn't been knocked out, hadn't had the cut. It was just a different sort of version, a different Tim Tszyu back then in 2023.
Yeah.
So I don't think you do need to see that, to be honest. But it would be interesting to see how he gets. Well, he wants the Spence fight. That's next. That's what he wants next, right? That's what he's been saying.
Yeah, that's what he's been saying, but he doesn't have to take that. But that is the fight to make, right?
I think that's the fight to make. If it's there, if that's what they've been talking about, and that's, Mike was saying that it's not done, but it's close. They can get it done in the next couple of weeks. But have you seen Spence training recently?
He looks horrendous.
He looks awful.
He looked horrendous.
He looks terrible.
Yeah.
So, and he hasn't fought since 2023, and he hasn't won since before that. So you just don't know. Is he shot? Is he done? He's 36.
But I'm just curious, how does Tim fight Spence? Because Spence has never fought at 154, but does Tszyu fight Spence how he used to fight and puts the pressure on, puts that size on Spence? Because I think Tim looks a lot slimmer now than he used to.
Yeah.
He used to bulk up and try and... I think he looks slimmer, and I think he's got to pick and stick. He's got to pick to that jab and move style, or he can't be in between. I don't think.
I think he has to be new style. Don't go back to the old style because Spence is too slick and crafty.
Because did you see what he also learnt was that first Fundora fight, he was winning those first 2 rounds, and then the last 30 seconds he wanted to keep putting the heat on. It's like, bro, you've won the round, circle around the ring, win the round. And he was doing that tonight. You see he hurt Nurja, he circled around, got back to his corner, won the round.
Part of me wonders...
That's smart.
Part of me wonders... he did admit that he was trying to stop him, but part of me wonders how much you just want to get rounds in.
And he also wants to get that Spence fight, no risk.
You get the Spence fight.
Mate, a big talking point today, Jeff Fennick left the venue early. Is this a media beat-up, or you spoke to him before he left?
I suppose he was sitting on the floor, I think, the ringside seat. We all saw him walk out. He walked up a flight of stairs and then was just watching from up there. So I thought, he's just trying to get a better view or something. So I just went and had a chat to him. He said, Tim's obviously trying to change a few things. He'd like to see this, that, the other, a couple of talking points that he often raises, Jeff. That's where I left him, and then a round later, he was spotted leaving. So I spoke to him after round 6, and he left after round 7. So make of that what you will. But he didn't. Like I posted a video, he didn't slam Tim. He was saying, you just sort of you could see the way the fight was going, I think. And, but
see, my concern, I'm just reading a comment here on my YouTube saying Tim Tszyu looks way smaller, lost muscle, and has lost all his power. Now, I don't think the casual boxing fan is going to... Are they going to buy into Tim, that boxer? Or do they want to see that, which was never Tim Tszyu?
He was never the boxer.
No, he was never the puncher, the power.
No. Well, that's what everyone said, right? He doesn't have the power of his old man. That was never
thing. How he won fights.
It was like beatdowns, like the Horn fight, the Hogan fight, the Sparks fight.
Yeah.
They weren't like thunderous one-punch KOs. It was just a consistent, just beatdown, like attack the body. That's how he got the name the Soul Taker, because he just attacked these guys.
So I think the criticism tomorrow is going to be unjust, because you got Jai Pattaya, for instance, right? He was in there with Glanton. He was tough as fuck. I mean, like, he didn't get him out of there. All criticism. So I just wonder what the headlines are going to be tomorrow. What are you writing tomorrow?
I wrote, what have I just sent? Bring it on. So keen on Spence Blockbuster after another Easter Sunday bloodbath.
So,
The other thing is, look, he was very calm when he got the cut, right? And it didn't get to him, and obviously he was in a much better place. But it's still a cut, like it still hurt. He said his vision was a little blurry.
yeah.
So throws out the bait to the big fish. That's from story.
Because whether they like it or not, Tim Tszyu is still the big name at 154 pounds.
I think there's a lot of big names, and he's one of them.
But in terms of cash, views, pay-per-views.
And also, well, Spence tweeted, "I'm gonna do you so bad." Is that what he said?
Yeah.
There's and we may have talked about it last week. If people like Spence and like Charlo and whoever else virtual tees think that Tim Tszyu has passed it after watching it, then maybe that makes the fight happen as well. You know, that they think he's there to be taken. It's still a big name, still money to be made.
Yeah.
Maybe they think that's less of a risk.
See, look at these sort of comments. Looks much smaller, no power. I personally think he looked sharper under his uncle Igor. But that is purely just because they are used to that imposing physical style. I think it's going to take more time for this Pedro Diaz thing.
Yeah,
to-
yeah. And also, like, stuff like that.
I don't know
Like
who that's from, by the way.
The Ocampo knockout and the Bowen Morgan knockout, they're knockouts. Those are on highlights.
Yeah.
But the Mendoza fight, that doesn't make highlight reels.
No.
But that was a really good performance against a
Systematic
high-level fighter, but it was completely
Systematic
one-sided.
beatdown.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think cool the Jets. Tim Tszyu wins. He wins every round. He gets the knockdown.
Yeah.
He goes on to a big mega fight against Errol Spence.
Yeah.
He's done his job today. I give him a solid 7.9 out of 10, maybe an 8, 7.9.
I'll go 7.
Yeah, 7.
Strong 7.
Yeah,
Hard 7.
7.5 to 7.9. But, you know, mate, up the coast next week. Won't say where, but an announcement for Nikita Tszyu. He's back in the ring.
Nikita Tszyu's fighting. What's the guy's Spanish name? Spanish guy.
Diaz.
Diaz.
Yeah.
With a card. Yes.
Any idea who's on the card?
They were trying to get Nelson to turn around and maybe fight on it.
What
But
do
I
you
don't
think
think
of
that's
Nelson
happened.
tonight? I thought he looked scrappy. I thought
Yeah.
Wallace was winning the fight.
Well, Wallace was throwing those big shots, eh?
Yeah.
A lot of what do you say? A lot of learnings. I hate that word,
Yeah,
but a lot of experience for Nelson in that one today. I think big right hand to finish the fight. What about Wallace goes down, big right hand to the jaw. You think, oh, he's done, and he gets up and he's allowed to keep fighting. I thought they should have stopped the fight.
Yeah. I thought the same as well.
You could barely walk forward.
I thought the same as well.
But I dare say he won't be fighting on in early May on a Nikita Tszyu card. He's got a cut and also says he wants to take some time out, I think. But the George Burgess fight looks like an obvious one to do. George jumped in the ring and I actually spoke to George after as well, and he said the bloke was rattled and shook and he doesn't like the pressure.
Yeah. What about that barn burner from Sammy Goodman? Great fight.
Yeah,
A little bit subdued at times, but a great.
just such a good boxer.
Yeah.
Like stylistically, so clean, just good to watch. You know, if you just want to sit there and watch some good technical boxing. The Argentine brought a bit of heat this week, hey? Him and his camp, and it's a bit of back and forth at the weigh-ins yesterday and pre-fight with the hand wrap drama. They weren't taking any bullshit, so that was good stuff.
So what's the verdict tonight, mate? I thought it was exactly what Tim Tszyu needed. Perhaps he could have been a little bit more emphatic, but he won every round. What's your final take?
Yeah, just wanted the knockout. That's all. With the highlights, Paulie Malignaggi said it last week. You want to be able to create momentum. So you want that knockout. You want that flash point. But first is to get the win, and he got the win. So
There you have it. All right, mate. Always good. We'll catch you next
see you in
week.
a couple of days.
Champ.